Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, and happy Friday. Today we have a special guest. Why? Because we're coming up on St. Patrick's Day, and I was able to snag, for real, the real St. Patrick. How are you?
I'm doing well. Top of the day to you. Top of the
So,
morning.
now, my understanding is you are going to be in the parade in Central
Correct.
Phoenix
Yep.
tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow morning.
So that's
I leave.
cool. Okay, so tell the history of how you went from this guy to that guy.
Uh, my uncle my uncle Don. My family's been doing the St. Patrick's, kind of this gig for about the last almost 40 years in Phoenix. My Uncle Don did it for about 38 years total. And then my dad did it periodically when he was not feeling well or took it over. And then obviously my dad passed away in October. So my uncle, told me about 4 years ago, hey, I'd like you to take over the reins of St. Patrick for Phoenix. So I have to say that I'm pretty much, I don't know if I've been ordained the official, but I've never seen anybody else run around the city of Phoenix of 7 million people with this kind of uniform. So I do
Well,
lead the
now
parade, walk ahead of the parade, and been doing it, the last couple of years. It's been fun.
what time is the parade tomorrow?
It's 10 a.m. Phoenix time. Yeah, so they
Okay.
usually have thousands of people out there lining, and then they have a Irish fair. Anybody in Phoenix, they have an Irish fair downtown from noon to 5. So,
So
and
if
then
anybody's down there and they are watching the parade and you see Pat, I want you to say, "Hey Pat, I'm a subscriber." So could have
yeah,
shouted out.
and
So
then
we're going to continue with the numbers, even though it's going to be hard to look at you and take numbers seriously. But I got, we're going to get rolling. We're going to talk about where our inventory is now, and I want to talk about who we are not and what we don't ever try to accomplish on this channel, and that is this. I could probably quadruple my views if I went negative. This is all the people last year. Housing crash coming, red flags, crash last year, and we went up 28%. And you know what this guy did last week? He bought a house. So
I'm done, guy.
the I'm done guy. Yeah, he bought a house. So I thought that was kind of funny. But so anyway, um, people are on here to look at the numbers. So let's get started. So here's what we've got on our 7-day moving average. And for a while there, Pat, I thought, oh, look at this. Our sales went way down as inventory was going up. The blue line is new listings that have come up, and the red line is homes that have gone under contract. And thank you, Esther and Jimmy. And so went that we had this gap growing. So then I went back and I looked at last year, which is this line, and you can see right there we kind of little had a gap going there as well around the same week,
Uh-huh.
and it got erased just like today's got erased. So there are still a lot of contracts going on out there. And I think really the only definable difference that we're seeing is that while the number of sales are still saying at around between 3,700 to 4,100 a week,
Yeah.
the number of them that are institutional buyers continues to grow. So while John Q. Public's getting kind of squeezed out, there's still people out there, the investors buying these homes to use as rentals. And I was asked by somebody yesterday that said, "You keep saying MLS. Can you tell me what MLS is?" And so it's the multiple listing service. So when houses are, um, it's put on a shared platform where all agents put the listings on one platform, and there's very strict rules about how a house is to be listed and what has to be provided in there. And if we don't get the details right, we can be fined. That way, you, the consumer, when you go to the MLS and look for listings, you can be assured that what you're seeing is accurate. And the MLS in turn also does a feed to people like Zillow, offer realtor.com, and pretty much every other website. Like my website pulls from the MLS, just like every other real estate agents. So when you get a listing appointment and a guy comes in and goes, I can get you on 200 websites, so can I. I just click one button and it gets out there for for everybody. So Pat, interesting week. Monday was looking good, interest rates, and then boom, they went back up. So what are we looking at here?
This is rates have gotten kind of slapped around again. I mean, this is back February 25th right here. We had 3 good days where, the rates were kind of subsiding. This is the price of bonds. So basically, as they go down, rates go up. This is obviously the inverse chart to the interest rate chart. So if people get confused by this, we've just had a rough week, since March 1st. Last week, we've had we saw a real big dip here, and it just slowly just been sliding down. Rates going up. We're seeing rates, they're a tip, 387, 399. Now they're 4 1/8, 4 1/4, depending on your scenario. So, you know what? Like I told you, like you said a couple of weeks ago, I mean, I think, I try to look at all the economic topics out there. We got one hell of a confusing environment out there. We got inflation, we got gas prices, the food, the war with Russia, Ukraine. You add in the federal, the feds what are they going to do in terms of the federal, the rate hike, 1/4 point, 1/2 point. Overall the rates have been up. They haven't been up that bad, but it's just, what people want to know where rates are going to be. It definitely doesn't bode well that rates are going to stay quiet. I mean, we're going to see days where you might have a couple of days where they might come down. If you're looking, to lock in a rate, you might see a 3 or 4 day period where it allows you to enter at a cheaper rate or cheaper price. But overall, it's just going to be just a real, as I said about a month and a half ago, it's just going to be a tough year, I think. And
yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this kind of speaks to that a little bit. This is the mortgage rate volatility index.
yeah,
Basically, what they're saying is it's designed to give clear sense of how much mortgage rates have been moving. In general, higher volatility means higher risk and reward when it comes to floating a mortgage rate.
yeah.
So you got to be careful out there. Is what they're saying. So
yeah, that's the thing. You have to be real careful. And just another thing about this Russia thing. I mean, you could tell that obviously it's being, this whole inflation thing has been politicized, because before it's transitory. Then a couple months later, they're saying inflation is good. Now they're saying Putin is causing all this with his.
Well, they're not even agreeing with each other now, Pat, because the administration said that that inflation is not going to be here long. And then Janet Yellen came out this morning and goes, actually, it's going to be a very tough year for inflation. And so
it's just, I mean, they're all
Mr. and Jimmy, would you wait 2 years on a new build? That's a tough question, because I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years. I can tell you this. It's just about taking almost 2 years to build a new construction home right now. Because you can't get cement and you can't get lumber, and they're having a hard time finding help. So if you're waiting for 2 years, the question comes down, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, let's put it another way. Everybody that's, the last 5 or 6 years, 5 years ago, they said they're going to wait. Everybody that said they're going to wait has been hurt by waiting.
Yeah. Tyler, they haven't done the first rate hike yet. And I think, like Pat and I talked about last week, Pat, you said that by the time that hike comes in, actual rates will probably drop.
Yeah. I mean, when that happens, it's already been built in, and they've been talking about it for so long that it's probably rates might actually drop a little bit. So
well, we talked about it a little earlier too. And 3 weeks ago, we were just talking about how high are the Fed's going to go? Are they going to go up 25 basis points, 50 basis points to try and tame inflation? Now they've just taken all the tools out of his toolbox with this Ukrainian thing.
Yeah.
The Fed can't do anything about the inflation that we're facing now. Nothing. Diddly squat, right?
Yeah. They're pushing a wet noodle by, the rates. I mean, you got so much, you got inflation. I think inflation, I mean, you ask anybody, they say it's 7.9. I I think that's crap. I think it's. I bet you I'd be betting, man, that the CPI number, the PP, the producer price index, the PPI. I bet you these numbers are going to hit 10 in the next couple months.
Well, you're going to add about $300 a month to the average consumer just on where we're at now. But now you've got wheat prices going up by 40% in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's going to affect the price of beef. You've got gas prices that when I filled up my truck the other day, $102, I about passed out. And the truck wasn't even empty. So, I mean, it just, and I'm planning a trip up to Washington State and back. And I kind of did a calculation the other day and I said, you know what? That gas price has already added $1,000 to the trip.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not the only one looking at those plans now. Now, how's that going to affect real estate? I don't know, but we're seeing, the Cromford Market Index here was at the end of 2021, or this is about in February, March of last year, kind of started going down with, 100 being a normal market, balanced market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though it was going down, it went down here to 363. And we thought, well, here we go. And this is kind of what you have to be careful of on charts. But now we're going back up the other way. And why is that? Well, inventory is just not out there.
Yeah.
And Seth says, separate from any effect on rates, are you seeing decreased interest from new buyers to look at homes due to increase in the
Good question. Good question.
I'm not seeing it yet. I mean, none of my buyers have said, hey, I want to hold off. I haven't seen it. But the people that are home thinking about it, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who to blame this on, but I'd love to get political, but I'm not going to do it. So here's supply. So supply, you can see now. So if you go back here and you look at the market, right? See how this line was coming down on the index? Why was that? Well, supply was starting to go up right here.
Yep.
Then it turned down. Now the market is going the other way because it's in favor of buyers. But here's demand. Demand was going up. Then it turned and went down. Now, when I look at my demand sheet here, the red line, you can see that it's actually not down. If you follow this red line all the way across, my demand on the 7-day moving average is not down, but the mix has changed. It's not all, you and me buying homes. It's the investors that have stepped up, open door and offer bed, and the multitude of institutional investors that are out there. Here's price per square foot, Pat. So we're going to take a little deep dive here into a little bit of Cromford data and show you kind of what's going on. This Paradise Valley now has the average square foot of $594.28 compared to last year of $466 at $27.5. Your neighborhood, $251.76 compared to $196. It's an increase of 28%. You go all the way down to the bottom here. Coolidge has the lowest price per square foot of $149 versus $105, but look at that percent of increase, 40.9%. Isn't that amazing? Now, where is Coolidge, you might ask? I'm glad you asked that. Here we are, Phoenix, Tempe, Mesa, Gilbert. It's way down here. So it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere down by Florence. And the mix of homes in Coolidge is all over the map. Little tiny shacks like this for $150. And I was surprised to see in Coolidge a $3 million home.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. It's, see, how big is it? It is 7,300 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. And I don't know who owns it. I didn't look up the tax records, but it's kind of cool. If you like a big place, I mean, that's definitely something I was not expecting to see in Coolidge.
Yeah. So that's definitely one of a kind there.
So when I was going to taking a look at the Cromford data before, we're going to jump back to that for just a second. What we're seeing is we're still at 4,800 homes today. And we've been that way every Friday for about a month now. And every time I've seen listings kind of start to break away, then the sales catch right up with it.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing, as I told the story last week, trying to make an appointment on a home. And the first day I was listed and I clicked on it and I couldn't believe I saw everything all blocked out. So I called the agent. She goes, "Yeah, we're full." And this is about 11 o'clock in the morning. They were completely full for the day. So there is a lot more going on and coming soon. When you look, like if I go here on a quick search, I can search for active and coming soon. So if I just want to do coming soon, I can click off active, go there. It's going to show that there are 735 homes that are about to hit the market. So you can put them up there for up to a month before they get on. And here's one here. These are friends of mine. This is Bryce and Stephanie's home, Pat, and it's up on 7th Avenue and Osborne, and it's just fabulous. They bought a new, bigger home up by Orangewood, and um,
That's
so
cool home.
this one's going to be on the market for 625, and
Jeez.
it's a 3-bedroom. It's a small 3-bedroom, but and they've got their little 2-year-old and 2 dogs. So, and it's got a great little cozy backyard, and it's going to be on the market April 4th. So if you have the opportunity to ask your agent if you're working with one, or shoot me an email and say, "Here's what I'm looking for. Can you check out coming soon?" Make sure that agents are adding the coming soon function to your search. It's not always that accurate, because sometimes it'll say coming soon, and you look and go, "Oh, wait, it's available today." Um, One of the highest price homes that sold, Pat, have you heard of this one? It's a 6,200 square foot Villa Bella Mesa
Mm-hmm.
by Launch Realty. Robert Jaffe, terrific guy. This just sold, I think it was for 6.25 million, the highest price per square foot in Whisper Rock, and 85226 zip code.
Wow.
And it's I just like the piano. And if you've got a lot of cars, there you go. But that piano's phenomenal. Beautiful. I like looking at these homes that are being showcased like this and
Oh
see
yeah,
what's up there.
it's cool.
Um, but one of the things that I wanted to point out, no, that's not it. I want to, we were talking about agent volume the other day, Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and in the Cromford report, they, let's see, I'm going to sort this out. So we get, they keep track of everybody's, you know, production, how many they've sold. Now, here's one I want to show. And before I show this, there are a whole bunch of agents that get their license just so they can sell their own house, or they reactivate their license so they don't, pay
Yeah.
real estate fees. I don't know how many that is, but here's, now count along with me. These are the number of agents that in 2021 sold one house. So I'll scroll down. Are you keeping track there, Pat?
Yeah.
So I'm still going. They was sold one house entire year of 2021. I'm still scrolling. And we have about, I think, 50,000 real estate agents. I'm still going. I have no way of pulling out exactly how many agents this is, but when it's a real tight market and there isn't a lot of inventory out there, um, it can be tough to find a deal. And you can see here that I'm still going.
Oh wow.
And we're not even at 2 yet. And when we get to 2, I'll probably be scrolling
What's two? What
2
2,000?
homes for the year.
Oh,
So
it doesn't give you a
it's
number. How many agents exactly? Doesn't give you a breakdown.
it doesn't. I would have to export the data and then look at and then count the
Yeah.
columns. And I just don't have that kind of time. So I think it's an interesting thing to look at when it's how much business is being done out there. And then there are the big movers and shakers too. Don't get me wrong. There's um, if you want to know who's number one in this market for 2021, it was Jesse Lax with 20. No, that's not right. So I got to go all the way up to the top here. Um, Cheryl with 653 homes.
Cheryl, who?
Cheryl Kai Prios and George Lawton. Now, this is a little deceiving. What they
Yeah.
have teams. So
Teams. They have
this
teams.
isn't
Yeah.
one individual that sold that many. And Sixto Exposito, I actually was a realtor with him at a small brokerage in Phoenix. That little bugger, he did $199 million, and a
Oh,
great guy. And then one of our, let's see, he was here a minute ago. Jeffrey Seabach,
Oh yeah.
EXP agent, 188 million dollars, number 14 in the state for volume. So it's kind of neat to look up and see what some guys are doing. If you're looking at moving and trying to join a team, you want to see if they have any productivity.
Well, I think it helped. I mean, from my standpoint, I want a real agent that. I mean, we talked about this on the phone. I mean, you want an agent that is not dependent on, because you had a client that says, well, didn't you have a client a couple of days ago say, well, about slashing the commission or being desperate? Wasn't there something to that degree?
Well, there's a comment about how do I price my home, and and
Yeah, you want. Oh yeah, you
should I
price.
only do a 5% commission? And I said, well, it depends on what you're getting for your services, and so I think, and that's pretty common because I'm seeing commissions come down quite a bit. But when you, I can be honest with you, I haven't seen much of a correlation between someone that does a ton of business on a level of service. Okay, someone that's done a ton of business and someone that's brand new.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes they're so busy, you can't
Oh
get them
no,
to
I
pick up
agree.
the
I
phone.
agree. I'm just talking from an experience standpoint as far as negotiating too. That's
Yeah,
you're great.
yeah. But you know what? Sometimes you get an agent that's brand new and
Yeah,
they
you're
got
right.
somebody mentoring them, and yet they've got all the time in the world to spend time with you. And they've only
Yeah,
been doing it a month. So
yeah.
the question I would ask is,
Yeah,
you
somebody
know,
behind you.
who's helping you? Because I know
Yeah.
you're new. Who is
Well, I
it?
know everybody's got to start somewhere. I'm just saying because obviously it's very, very competitive market, and you get agents that they're starting out there. They're going to follow up, and they're going to be good. They're good. They're good ones. You have to start somewhere. So
I was very
that's
fortunate on one of my first listings I had. The agent's name was Bobby Lieb. He's the guy very famous up there in the um, Carlos loves your costume. Can he borrow it? Um, smack, smack. Thinking of selling. What do you think a good commission is? I think we were just talking about that. That. What do you think a good commission is? Because you're the one paying it. So what do you get out of it? What's there is. They say there's an industry standard, but when you go through and you look, there really isn't. I
yeah.
mean, you can get anything from Redfin coming in and saying they'll list your house for 1% and they'll pay 2.5 on the other side. And then you get somebody that says, well, I give you, I suggest going 3% for listing, 3% co-broke, for the other agent, because that's how it works. That may change. There's a lawsuit in front of the Justice Department trying to
Mm-hmm.
decouple that. But what are you getting? Sometimes you'll get flat fee agents that come up and go, and you don't see a lot of that in this market, but I'll list your home for $2,300. And they do that because they want to continue to hold open houses in your house, and then they get a list of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not, if it doesn't sell in a few weeks, that's okay. You let me have 3 open houses there. I got 30 new clients.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in this market, you'd be silly to go out and do a flat fee commission. And when I told one of my sellers, I have one closed today, Andrew, great guy. And we've been looking like crazy for his. But I told him, I said, can you see now when we earn our commission? It's not when we get the offer accepted. It's keeping the deal together.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whoever came up with the present idea was brilliant. Does it cost more to sell a $500,000 house versus 1 million? Depends. Sometimes it can. It depends on the level of service that's expected from
The $1
the
million.
sellers. I know a lot of people that sell in the very multi-million dollar homes, and they want them to pick them up at the airport. They don't want a lockbox, so you have to drive out to the house every time to show every potential buyer. There's a lot of labor. You're not just taking photographs. You're taking twilight. You're taking drones. You're doing 360. So you're spending probably a $500 selling package, and then the financing and keeping the deal together sometimes could be a lot more difficult. On this one was 500,000. We almost lost it for a very silly reason. I mean, last Friday, it was hanging by a thread. And I told my buyer, he said, this is the most stressful thing I've ever gone through, buying my first home. And I said, yeah, that's why I didn't tell you what was going on Friday.
Yeah.
And so, is solar a turnoff for buyers? should it be emphasized or de-emphasized on a listing? Depends on if it's leased or if it's owned. If it's owned, it's not a turnoff. It's quite a benefit. And there is a way, and there's actually a site that realtors can look at to go and find out what the value of that solar panel is to make sure that the appraiser gets that information. And so if you have a home with solar and you're in a contract, make sure that the lender works with the appraiser to understand that they know how to appraise homes with solar and they have experience, because it'll make a difference. Now,
Yeah.
leased panels, no, it doesn't add any value
Yeah.
because you have a payment.
Correct.
So, but getting back to commissions, I mean, it's up to your tolerance level. I mean, if there's times that you don't even know the value of the commission until that thing closes. It's like, holy cow, we had to do a lot. Sometimes you can put a sign up in the yard,
Yeah.
get somebody to make your offer. It's the cleanest buyer you've ever seen in your life, and you're done in 3.5 weeks, and it was quite the blessing. So, I mean, what's been your experience, Pat? I mean,
there's some agents that, there's some deals that, you work your tail off, and there's other easy deal, there's easier deals. I think good agents earn their commission. There's some agents that don't, earn their commission, but I think a lot like you're on top of it. I think most agents are.
let me frame it this way. If we weren't commission, what kind of hourly rate should we get?
Yeah. What I tell you what, on the buying side, the buying agents, they spend a lot of time. I've seen agents who work really hard lately because you're out there looking at 20, 30, you're putting in maybe 20, 30 offers before you get something accepted. And it's a dog eat dog world right now. It's not easy. And I think having an agent in this time frame, because it is competitive, you need that helping hand. And what is that worth to you? If you want to get the house, if you want to buy a house, what is it worth to you to have a good agent, busting their tail for you?
Well, the commission's paid by the,
So
during the transaction by the sellers, and the sellers, we get in trouble if we look at something and going, oh, they're only offering 1%.
yeah,
I'm not going to go in. But
and
sometimes
that's
you can make an arrangement with your buyer that goes, hey, look, if the commission isn't at least 2.5%, will you kick in the difference? And you do it at closing. And Smack here says 2 to 3%. I think you're missing the point here. What do you want to pay?
yeah,
Can you find anybody that's going to list it total for 2 to 3%?
yeah,
And you probably can.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, did it work out? And if it did, great. But when you're out with buyers, how many homes did you show and how many contracts did you write that never got accepted? And how much gas did you spend? How many days? How many weekends?
Yeah, that's what the average person who's buying a house who's got a buying agent doesn't realize, that they spent the last 2 months looking for a house with them. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm not whining. It comes with territory.
it comes with territory. Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, it's just getting tougher. I mean, but it is, I mean, there's a lot of controversy about the commission, obviously. But
Yeah, there's the decoupling is going to be very interesting. I think the market's going to radically change in a few years to where your level of services will be on an a la carte basis.
yeah,
In other words, you want me to draft documents for you as a buyer. Here's what I charge. If you want me to negotiate the contract, here's what I charge.
yeah,
My senior analyst is about to go nuts here. There's a dog walking by. So, and so I think it'll be done on an a la carte basis, and you can check that out. Homey is one that's trying it now, where you can list your home for $199 and you can pay. See, there he is. I'm going to squirt and that makes him stop. He sees me grab this, he takes off. So you can pay somebody to put a sign up in the yard. You can pay so much to have it listed, but then you're responsible for the showings. And then when you get the contract, there's a fee for them to negotiate the contract. But you have to be there for all the showings. You have to do that. Some people like it, some people don't. But I guess my point is there's a lot of different business models being tested right now.
Yeah.
And Arizona is really the place where the majority of that goes on.
Yeah. I don't know if, that's really going to go over well with most people because the average person doesn't really know what to take on and what to hand off to people, I mean, that'd
I
be like
think the
saying,
price negotiation part.
that'd be like me saying, okay, I'm going to charge you, $200 to take this application. But then if you want to go to the underwriter and the processor and do this yourself, go ahead. I won't charge you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think, price negotiation, Carlos, any thoughts on 72 sold marketing? He's asking. I have a lot, but it would be against my, my code of ethics if I were to actually, share an opinion, publicly. So,
Yeah.
yes, I have an opinion.
Trying to be good.
So I can tell you they have a $7 million advertising budget.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I don't know if that's annually or quarterly. So
Wow.
that's why you're seeing a lot of that. And their commission structure for their agents is vastly different. And sometimes those agents have as many as 19 deals over a 30-day period. So they're making this much, but they're having this many deals. And
Yeah.
so it's a very interesting business model. I don't understand all of it. I'd love to tell you what I like and don't like about it, but it'd be a code of ethics violation. So I'll stay out of that. But a lot of people think that the hard work is done in negotiating the price, and to be honest with you, that's the easiest part.
See, that's where I think it is. That's just my opinion. Yeah. I think it's, but I agree. There's a lot of other aspects. There's a lot of aspects to that the average client doesn't see what the agent does behind the scenes.
Well, I had one that came up. This is years ago. As soon as you get an offer, the title company does pulls the title, does a preliminary title report. I should have pulled the preliminary title report before I had the home listed. That was my mistake. What I found is there was this huge IRS lien on the home, and a business, an LLC, had a lien on the home, to where by the time you get done selling it, paying commissions, there was nothing left.
Wow.
And this thing, this was a divorce situation. And this lady was really just she got violent after a while. And I said, hey, yeah, what can you tell me about these two liens? Oh, don't worry about it. Well, we kind of have to, because you're going to end up owing a lot of money if you close, because, this business lien's pretty aggressive. So I got a hold of her husband because he was still on the title. And he goes, I can get that business lien reduced for you. He says, I just want this house sold. He goes, I wanted her to sell it at the top of the market in 2007, but she said no. And here we were trying to sell it in 2013.
Wow.
And she got an IRS lien put on it because she wasn't, paying her taxes. She had, was a business owner. At the end of the day, when that home sold, he got $58 when they split it down the middle.
Jesus.
$58.
Wow.
And he was happy. He was happy. And she was so mean to my title company that it was right by Cinco de Mayo that I bought the entire staff bottles of tequila.
That's Jesus.
We have stories, don't we?
Yep. Definitely do. Definitely do.
Well, Pat, I hope you have a super time at the parade. And everybody, if you're going to Central Phoenix and seeing Pat in the parade, don't forget to yell, hey, Pat, I'm a subscriber.
All righty.
The people standing next to you won't know what you're saying, but Pat will. So,
yeah.
All right. Have a great weekend.
All right. Say hello. Take care.
See ya.